This is a Hope 1032 podcast.
Just a warning, this episode contains topics that might be triggering for some people who are listening. If you need some assistance, contact Lifeline on 131114, 131114.
To She Wasn't Born Yesterday for women who are 40 plus fabulous by the Empty Nest Chicks. I'm Janet Evans, ex-M&T Saatchi advertising creative who have won numerous radio and TV awards. Not that that'll affect us because we're doing a podcast.
And I'm Dr. Amelia Haines, who has been a medical doctor for 30 years and specialising in sexual health and mental health and relationships, and I'm generally a very useful human being.
Well, we'll find out about that, but we are here to work together.
People tell me on good authority that I am.
Really? Yes, well, they never say that to me, so I think we're the perfect hosts for She Wasn't Born Yesterday. Gorgeous Dr. Amelia, today on She Wasn't Born Yesterday, we're going to talk about finding love over 40. Is it possible to find someone after divorce, but as well as domestic violence? So if we 40 plus fabulous women have been through a domestic abuse situation and have also a child or kids to take care of, how do we trust someone again in a whole new relationship and in fact find love over 40?
Oh, my goodness. That is a huge question.
It is a big question. And, I can imagine it would be so nerve-wracking trying to date again after what you've been through. There'd be trust issues and, would you be scared that maybe you might actually make the same mistakes again?
My feeling is a lot of people, full stop, but a lot of women in particular would just not bother.
Yeah? Do you think so?
Yeah.
Well, today our guest is the 40-plus very, very fabulous Victoria, who is an executive at a multinational advertising agency. And she's here to talk to us about her story. Hello, gorgeous. How are you?
I'm very good, thanks, Janet.
Full disclosure, we have worked together before.
Yes, it would appear that way to me, just seeing the two of you. Yeah.
But gorgeous, tell us about you. What does being an executive in an ad agency involve?
Gosh, a lot of people wrangling.
Yes.
An enormous amount of Zoom calls, as you can imagine, in this hybrid world. Lots of setting business strategy, lots of working with clients on fantastic and wonderful campaigns. And it's really varied, my work. I've done everything from people management, talent management, operations. Last year I managed our office fit out. So lots of interesting stuff. And I actually really enjoy what I do. So it makes it all so much easier.
Yes.
You are a Swiss Army knife woman. And you're in a romantic relationship now, is that right?
Absolutely, yes.
Oh, that's so good. But you have been through a fairly distressing past. Can you tell us a bit about what happened?
Yes, so I was previously married to someone for quite a long time, a lengthy time, 15 years. But unfortunately, that person was abusive. And I guess the best way to describe it as a quote that I heard from, I think it was Ruby Wax, where she was describing a relationship that she'd been through. And she said that person's behaviour deteriorated faster than she could lower her expectations.
Very good.
It's a great quote because it really does describe what I went through. It was a long time of readjusting to pretty poor behaviour. It got to a point where I had made the decision to leave the relationship. I had a child who was at the time about 6 years old.
Okay.
Because of the behaviour, we'd started to live fairly estranged lives anyway. So even though we were under the same roof, the level of emotional abuse, financial abuse, and at times physical abuse had meant that my daughter and I were sort of doing things together and trying to protect each other a lot.
Right.
And even though, as I said, we're under the same roof, we were sleeping in different bedrooms, we were doing different things, we were spending as much time apart as possible. And so in my head, the relationship had ended and I just needed to work out a way in which to leave safely.
Yes.
And so, yes, it sort of came to a head, and my daughter and I managed to escape. It was quite a dramatic turn of events.
Wow.
But we did manage to escape. We did manage to then get the house back and have lived there ever since and have sort of gotten on with things. But it was quite a distressing time.
Oh, yes, definitely. What sort of support did you get at work, presumably, if you were working at that time?
It was fantastic, actually. So my ex-husband was very productive in his abuse. And that's a really strange term. For instance, he would probably send me hundreds of emails a week, abusive emails, abusive text messages. He would stalk and harass me. And I had to let my work know because a lot of those messages were coming through to my work email. He would do things like create a new email 3 or 4 times a day.
Wow.
Yep.
So I had a pretty close relationship with our head of IT, who would work really quickly in the background to continue to block his emails, as productive as he was at creating them.
Yeah.
Incredible.
It also got to the point where he started to embroil my boss at the time in his actions and tried to discredit me at works to really kind of undermine my financial stability, because he thought that if he could get me to lose my job, I would be more vulnerable and he would win. They were then caught up in it, and my boss was pretty incredible. He formed a pretty strong relationship with the team of police that were in and around my case. He went out of his way to make statements to the police. He corroborated everything I did. He even at one stage, which was pretty incredible, spent time in a police cell to try and understand the psyche of someone who would continue to put himself back in that position and trying to really understand and get under the skin of what was going on. So I was incredibly lucky. I had support in all quarters, from senior people through to functional support from IT. But the best support was just the people around me. As Janet will attest to, I worked with an incredible team of people. And the best support that they gave me was just to validate that I was good at my job and that far and apart from being in this relationship, which was a terrible thing that was happening to me, in this other world, I had this team of supportive people who validated that I was a worthy person, that I was a decent person.
And that you weren't mad to have ended up in that position.
Absolutely.
At this point, I also just need, the kind of doctor in me just needs to make sure that you are okay. Like, you're doing a podcast, so how kind of safe do you feel even doing this?
Well, I don't really want to identify myself or my daughter because of the repercussions, but my husband did end up spending several years in prison. He has been released. He has been released now for 2 years. I have full custody of my daughter. He doesn't have any access. I have made complete financial separation. The divorce is final. So I feel in a much safer place. But I think anyone that has gone through a domestic violence incident has always got a fear at the back of their mind as to what might happen. So that's always there.
That's a terrible thing. And I was also going to ask you, like, how hard is it to focus on your work when you have all of these things going on in the background?
Yeah, it is really hard. I remember once I had a big pitch at work, and that morning my ex-husband had come to our house. He was not allowed near the house, but he came anyway, and was screaming abuse at me from the street and threatening to hurt me and my family. And it was pretty confronting, and Gabriella was obviously very upset. So was I. I had to call the police again to get him to go. And then an hour later, I was presenting to a room full of people in a pitch for baby formula. So you have to be a good actor. You have to be a really good actor and be able to switch on and switch off and perform sometimes when you are needed to, particularly in the role that I had. But as I said before, I also think that in my case, work was a sanctuary because it gave me something else to focus on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. And so after you left the relationship, what were your main priorities?
Well, immediately after was safety. So the biggest thing about leaving a domestic violence is in that moment of leaving, you are the most vulnerable. That is when you are unfortunately most likely to get killed. And so I had already made an escape plan with my best friend. We had sorted out where she was leaving a key, how to get into her house. He didn't know where she lived. She just moved. So immediate concern was safety for myself and my daughter. And then it was about securing kind of getting the house back because I had to flee. I had to escape for our own safety reasons. And then I had to engage lawyers, police, etc., to and then get us back into the house and feel secure again. So for many years, and it was a long time, just feeling safe and secure, particularly for my daughter, was the main priority.
Yeah, exactly. And as someone in leadership now, how has that sort of helped you shape policies around women or structures around other professional women who might actually be going through similar things?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things. Policies are really important. So we have great, generous policies across the board, from maternity to domestic violence leave to we are now implementing miscarriage and menopause leave.
Cool.
So I think just having an understanding of the pressures that women and particular mums go through, because they're actually much more vulnerable than potentially some of the other workers in your workplace. So that awareness is really important. And those policies make people feel heard, even if they never use them. They just know that you have got them because you understand. And then I think the other thing beyond policies is just being quite real in the workplace. I never talk about the situation that I went through because it's quite private.
Yes.
But I do talk about struggling as a single mum, having to do 3 hours worth of work before you come into work, and showing that vulnerability around the juggle and all the other stresses that come with it, so that I hope I'm creating an environment, if someone is going through something, they might not come to me, but they might feel there's someone that they can go to get the support that they need.
That's just awesome. I think every corporate business should take their leaf out of your book, baby.
I was going to say, I am sitting here boggling at the fact that one of the things we're meant to be touching on here is meant to be, dating again after all of that.
I know.
Like that we're not meant to be just pausing at coping with all of that, but we're meant to, now talk to you about good heavens.
Finding love again.
Yes.
And so how long did it sort of take you to start actually
even conceptualizing? Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question. Well, years, literally years, because I just wasn't interested.
No.
I was kept very busy in and out of the court system, and I had a lot on my plate, and it just wasn't even something that I even thought about. So it would have been about 3 or 4 years, and then I just felt this desire to have a real adult connection with someone, romance again. And it was like a switch went back on.
Wow, okay.
It was quite strange. For a long time, that part of me, it was just dormant. And I felt ready again to actually think about those things and, start dating again.
Did you trust yourself, or did you say, oh my goodness, I, did what I did in all good faith and sensibleness, years ago, and thought that I was doing a fine thing that actually turned out not to be a safe thing? Like, did you doubt yourself, or I don't know, how did you manage to kind of change the way you were thinking about that and think, no, I can trust myself?
Yeah, it was a challenge. I think you do question your judgment because you put trust in someone and that trust was absolutely misplaced. But for me, I saw my ex-husband, who was someone who is not a good person, is a very bad person, and was able to recognize that it was him, and he wasn't reflective of all men, and he wasn't reflective of all people, and he wasn't reflective of people that come from his background or his nationality. He was a uniquely terrible person.
Yeah.
And so I put him in that box, and I didn't impact how I saw other men. I have lots of other men who are friends I'm very close to who supported me through everything. So I think that was really important because the experience with him didn't mean that I blamed all men on it.
No,
Yeah.
like your cognitive, give it a title, your cognitive restructuring was excellent there. Excellent, yeah.
Whether you knew that or not.
Yeah.
But was there sort of just a little part of you that, you know, when you started maybe going out with different guys that you thought, oh, could this person be not who I think they are? Or was it just part of you that kind of held back a bit in terms of those relationships?
I think perhaps. I think I went into dating just wanting to have a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
Meet different people, you know, go out to different places and have dinners. And I was quite innocent about it.
Yeah.
I think when I probably realised I had my guard up was when I did meet my boyfriend, who has, you know, I've now been with for 4 years. What I realised was how hard it was to give my heart away. It's
Right.
very easy to kind of go out and have fun and have a drink and those sorts of things. And, you know, it was fun. It was like, oh, I don't like that person. I'm not going to see them again. It's fine. But when you actually start to feel something, you realise that the armour is there around your heart. And that's the thing that then needs to break down and to let someone else in, because you don't know it, but you're very protective of that
Yeah.
until someone starts to break through, and then you realise that's the hard thing to give away. That's the thing that will take time, and that did take time.
Here we go again.
Actually, how did you even start right at the beginning of putting, you know, yourself out there and kind of looking for who was floating around?
Well, I used online dating like every other
Fabulous.
person, probably my age or younger or older or everyone else in the world.
Yeah.
And I did that because I worked with a bunch of younger people and like, how do we do this? Because I don't know. And
Yeah.
so I had this little council of people who were my
Date supporters.
date supporters, my trusted
Your
advisors.
profile creators with you.
Yeah, absolutely, who helped me kind of get out there and be confident, and although I was extremely nervous, and just have fun. I think that's the biggest thing. I didn't actually go into thinking about dating, thinking about how I'm going to find my next life partner, or I'm going to find someone who's going to fill a hole in my life. I was just about actually just having adult company and a romantic connection. Was
Yeah.
kind of,
Were there any actual positives that you took out of the negative experience you had that you brought forward into that relationship now?
yeah, absolutely. I think that, and this is going to sound a little bit morbid, but
You're
Not like
allowed
the rest
to.
of our conversation.
You're allowed to.
I think when you're going through a situation like mine, I certainly, I thought for many, many days that I could not wake up, that my husband could kill me.
Yeah.
And so you get to realise actually how valuable just being alive is. Being alive is pretty wonderful. Being alive is way better than being dead. And
Definitely
and
more
it
fun.
sounds incredibly obvious, but that made me have a huge amount of gratitude.
Yeah.
So it didn't make me want the latest sports car or a trip to Europe. You know, the best thing I wanted for Christmas was to not be killed by my ex-husband. So
Wow.
it
Yeah.
actually makes you really grateful for everything.
Yeah.
And I think that is a gift, because a lot of people get weighed down by the small stuff. They worry about the little things. But I remember putting my feet on the floor, getting out of bed every morning going, I'm alive. And I've taken that positivity and that gratitude, and it's years later, and I still feel that same way, that every day is a great day to be alive.
Yeah. And what does your daughter think of your current beau?
She's good. She really likes him. But you know what? She's very jealous sometimes as well.
Oh, sure.
So kids can be tricky.
Yeah.
She does really like him. She likes the fact that he makes me so happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's very good with her. He's very funny. He's very generous. But for her, it's been hard to share. She's an only child, and the two of us have an incredibly strong bond, as you can imagine. So for her, it's actually just about sharing.
Actually, I'm sure that's really quite intense for her because, that is an enormous thing that happened in her young life and is going to colour her view of everything going forward.
Do you think it will affect her view of guys, for example, her own view?
I think that's to be determined, Janet. I'm not sure.
And very possibly not in a bad way, can I say? Maybe not in a
Hopefully.
bad way, yeah.
I think she has a high standard, and I think we both recognise that what he did was bad, what he did was terrible, and hopefully hasn't coloured out the rest of humanity and the rest of men. We do definitely recognise that it was his behaviour. And you know what? There are also good memories for her as well with him, that
For sure.
they're good memories and she can keep those.
Yes,
good memories.
yes.
Yeah, it sounds like because it was a very long-term relationship that potentially things weren't so bad at the beginning. Is that right? Or perhaps the signs were always there?
Yeah, I think usually the signs are always there. I think you come to realise when you look back that you're being controlled, and you don't know that at the time because that person is so good at it. And it's a series of being undermined to the point where you lack confidence in yourself and you question yourself, and then you become reliant on that person. So when you look back, you realise the signs were there from the very beginning,
Yeah.
but that you were under their control for so long that you didn't realise it.
Do you, even now with no one saying that the current boyfriend, even though he's fabulous, it has to be perfect. He doesn't have to be perfect. But do you find yourself sometimes thinking, oh, that's right. That's what normal people do. Like that's what normal people do in relationships.
Oh, absolutely, all the time. So my ex-husband never bought me a birthday present.
Really?
Never. Or open, just small acts of kindness. Where my current partner, there's always a million acts of kindness.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
Awesome.
I can't believe that I ever was okay with that or lived through that. And absolutely, you realise now the standard that you have to hold to yourself in terms of your own worth is very different.
So after the first couple of dates with this guy, who must be gorgeous and fabulous if he's with you, Gorge, but do you remember a time when you thought, oh, I think I'll tell him about my past, or was that easy or hard to do?
Yeah, I told him fairly soon because I think he's been married before. It usually comes up fairly quickly in a conversation when you've both been married before, like what's your story, what's your story? Obviously, my story is way more convoluted than everyone else's normal stories. And so it came up probably, I can't remember the exact moment, but it came up pretty early. He was really understanding. And I think since then, more and more has probably been revealed over time as you start to tell more stories. So he really gets an understanding. But I felt like I could trust him with that information. And I also thought, well, if he walks away after knowing this, then it wasn't right anyway.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, good call. But one of the most important questions is, how does he get on with Princess?
Well, Princess, of course, loves him. Princess is my Staffy rescue dog.
Okay.
He is anything but a princess. He is rough and tumble and overly large Staffy.
She's gorgeous.
Yes, she loves him as well.
Oh, really?
Oh, there you go.
See, that's
Well,
confirmation.
that's important.
That's,
Yes.
you're the
Yes.
right guy. And so what do you guys like to do? What do you have in common, and what do you do together?
Well, the interesting thing was we started dating during COVID.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah, wow.
I think we met in March 2020 and we went into lockdown probably a couple of weeks after we met.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And so we got to know each other not through going out and going to parties and mixing with a big bunch of people, but just spending time with each other. We were able to be our own bubble with each other. We cooked a lot. We made our own cocktails. We love going to the beach. We both love, he's in interiors business. We love doing up homes. So there was lots of things that we connected on. And we live a pretty low-key lifestyle. We're not big party animals or anything like that. And so, yeah, we just connect over those things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Actually, if you can get on with someone during COVID times, it's a
Yeah.
pretty good sign.
And also travel? Have you travelled together? Because that's a very big test of a relationship.
Yes, we have travelled just around Australia. We haven't been overseas or anything yet, but we've done where we can get away, little trips and weekends away and those sorts of things. So, yeah, we actually spent last weekend in Melbourne together. So.
Oh, lovely. Beautiful. And so if you have a piece of advice for women who are 40 plus fabulous, who perhaps have been through a similar situation and they're thinking, I really kind of want to meet someone again, what sort of advice would you have for them?
Yeah, so the first things first, as I mentioned before, is if you are, and I just have to say this to be responsible to myself, is that if you are thinking of leaving an abusive relationship, make sure you do it safely. Make sure you have a really good, safe escape route.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And think about separating your lives, your passwords, your everything, your banking, and do it safely. And really think about that and plan that, because I did to a certain extent, but probably not enough. So first things first is make sure you're safe.
Yeah.
Is there a resource online that does walk you through the steps that you can look at and go, I'm doing this, is there anything? Because I talk to people about it all the time, but I've never known about anything which just does
Set that out
talk
too.
through. Yeah.
I think I did get, because there is the domestic violence, as soon as you have an AVO that is valid AVO, you get connected to the domestic violence advisory team, I think they're called.
Mind you, it'd be quite nice to have it before all of that.
That's right. So you have to wait for a violent incident to
Yeah.
connect to that team. And I have a DVLO, which is a domestic violence liaison officer, but you don't get that until there has been a continuing pattern of violence. Even those guys, and my DV is amazing, don't have all that information. So I don't know if there is a resource.
Right, because I haven't heard of one, so I just thought I'd ask. Okay.
There should definitely be one. I have thought about writing one myself.
Yeah.
Go for it.
My ex-husband was very diligent at pushing down every door and every way in possible.
Yes.
So I know
Yes.
all the things to look out for, but I think there should be a resource because
Yeah. I know a terrific writer, by the way.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you, Janet?
Yeah. We could get together. We could have a cocktail.
Absolutely. I would love to do that. I
That'd
would
be
really
awesome.
love to do that.
But also, I guess in terms of dating again, after you've left a situation like that, do you think women should just go for it, just jump in, or wait for that point that you were talking about, which is now I'm ready, that switch is flicked?
I think just wait a beat. I think take the time to get into a really good headspace, because I think if you're looking for someone to help fix you, it's probably not the best way to approach dating. I think you need to start to fill your own life with things that make you feel good and make you feel rich and worthy again. And that can be exercise, it can be going to the movies, it can be spending time with friends that you might have been isolated from, reconnecting with your family, reconnecting with yourself, watching the Netflix shows you want to watch, getting into a place where you feel more confident in yourself and more in control of yourself, I think is really important to start after you've done that work or had that space from that relationship. And then I think you need to go into it with a sense of fun and adventure, not a sense of trying to find someone who will heal you.
Yeah.
If it is the right person, they will, and that will come.
Yeah.
But if you go in with that in mind, you'll probably be quite disappointed. I think you'll kiss a lot of frogs, so to speak.
Yeah.
But if you go in there with a sense of adventure and a sense of fun and not taking it too seriously in the first instance, then I think you'll have a better experience than if you are going in there with this sort of serious mindset of wanting to find your next life partner.
Yes.
I don't think that's the best mindset.
Well, Victoria, it has been absolutely incredible chatting with you today. And you are the most amazing person, and we wish you so much love. You and Princess and the guy and your lovely daughter. Thank you so much for your time, and we really appreciate it.
I feel that this will be very helpful to a lot of people.
Women. Yeah. Thank you so much. It's been awesome.
Thank you, guys. Thank you both.
We love chatting, and we really look forward to all of our special guests and to just chatting with you guys. And we'd actually love to hear from you. You know, we'd love you to send us flowers. I'm a dark chocolate person. What about you? You're protein bar. for Dr.
I
Amelia.
am. I'm so healthy. It's disgusting.
But, we'd love to know if there's burning issues for you. Contact us on hopepodcast.com.au if there's issues that you'd like us to talk about or you really want explored or you think you'd be an expert on. Hit us up and come on the podcast. Come on our journey with us. We look forward to your company. Well, gorgeous listeners, during this episode, we did talk about the idea of finding resources if you find yourself in a domestic violence situation and you are considering leaving and you've reached that point. And we have found a couple of things that you can look into. The first one is at 1-800-RESPECT. And there you'll find safety planning article, a safety planning checklist and an escape bag checklist. And we recommend looking into these just to see what you can do in that situation. The other idea is to look at lifeline.org.au where there is in fact a domestic violence toolkit. These are very helpful resources and we really hope you never need to use them, but if you do, it's good to know they're there.
Hope 1032. Thanks for listening.